Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool. And when I did my video on the chisel knives, I had three of them here, the Hultafores, the Baco, and then the Mora knife, which is kind of what started my interest in these things. There were several comments that Stanley FatMAX made one. So here it is. I was able to track one down through Home Depot, free shipping to my house for about 10 bucks. Which kind of surprised me. This is the package it came in, what's left of the package. Dual sharpened edges, knuckle protector, also known as a guard. We've got a striking metal end cap right there. That is different than the other chisel knives. They don't have striking end caps. This one's got, you know, probably the pass-through plastic because of the rubberized coating is around this internal dual composite handle there, and it's got a hardened, you can read that barely, hardened straight edge. What they're advertising is this back spine, which you can certainly, you know, hit with a hammer. We'll do that in a moment. That's true with all of them. Baco's is super rough. They didn't even bother to try to finish that. The Mora knife, you can see kind of the same. They stopped the polish work on the stainless steel, and same with the Hultafores. So this actually has, believe it or not, the most finished of all of the spines. It's also by far the heaviest. I put it on the scale here. You can see it's 7.2 ounces. Compare that to this Mora, which is 3.5. So it's more than twice as heavy as this guy here. The Baco comes in right behind it at 5.5, but that's still almost 2 ounces lighter. So this is pretty heavy. And one of the things I did, I was kind of curious about, had to do with the, let me find my magnet here, wherever it's stuck to. I was interested in what was going on in the spine. I have to grab another magnet. Must have stuck to something. Here we go. So when I looked at the magnetic attraction here on this handle, it goes all the way out. And then, of course, to the cap. I did throw a look for continuity across this, and it does not conduct across this, so there is some break here at the end. But a lot of these others, as I move this out, you can see that it stops about right here. So this does have a pass-through all the way to the end. Same with kind of this Mora knife. You can see that pops back. And then, of course, the Hultafores, the same thing. Whoops. Slides around. So it wants to go back. I'm assuming the handle, or the tang only goes that far. So this guy apparently is the beefiest. In weight, it's probably got the most metal in it. And as far as the blade goes, let's check the thickness here. So what I've got is it's 3.9 and a half to mix my fractions, decimals, and anyway, I'm in millimeters. So 3.5 millimeters, or 3.9 millimeters, 3.9 and change. This one's down to 3.1, so almost a millimeter less. And then 295, so this is by far the thinnest, this Hultafores. The thickness of the blade, if I compare that, say, to a Dutch gilder, you know, as a little nod to Casper the Friendly Cop up in the Netherlands, is about an inch, because this particular coin, it turns out, let me zero that, is 25 millimeters, or 0.98 inches. It's almost an inch, or kind of fun. Can use these crazy decimals here. One of the fun things I discovered. This is 21/128. Okay, is that thicker or thinner than 5/32? I'm counting. Which is it? Anyway, turns out if I go to something that you probably can make more sense of, this is 3.98. Remember, we already did that. 3.94, so a little thinner there, or this one's a little thinner. So let's take a look at the sheath. It's a hard plastic. It is the toughest to get this in and out. It is reversible. However, it doesn't seem to fit as well in what would I consider a left-hand carry. A right-hand carry, which is the blade back. This is on the right hip. The attachment seems to hold in pretty solid. If I flip it around and everything looks symmetrical here, this just pops right out. So I don't know what's up with that. All the others are pretty much the same. They're plastic, has a drain hole in the top. So let's take a look at this guy. Closer inspection, it has the wedge shape. It is not a chisel shape like the Morai is. And these two other ones, the Baco and the Hultafores, are also these wedge shape. They're sharpened to the center of the spine, not pushing over to one edge. So a lot of people like the Morai knife for that reason. It's more of a classic chisel. This is more of a knife blade, a workhorse. It is very sharp, although it is the roughest one. You can see on the tip there, maybe this one came from the factory. There's a big old burr there on the end with the roughest blade. Now you do beat these things up, but each one of these in my previous videos I noticed had like one little ding somewhere. This one has several along here, and then the corner is dinged as well. It's actually not a sharp corner, you can see. It's been, well, maybe dropped, I don't know. But overall, you know, it's a hard use, kind of a rough tool. Seems to work well, and because of that spine, they encourage you to, you know, beat on the thing, so. You're watching the numbers on my balance. I should probably move that. These aren't cheap. So anyway, seems like a solid tool, and for 10 bucks, I don't remember, did that move into first place as far as the cheapest? I don't remember how much this guy was, but it's not much. It's heavy duty, nice striking end cap, so I guess I can demonstrate that as well. I'm going to throw it up onto here. You can't see the strike, but I'm going to whack that thing with a hammer. Pry that off. Kind of stuck in there. So you can see, maybe a little lower. You know, it's a good use, hard use tool. Mess up my precision instruments here. So, thought I'd bring this one to your attention. Consider its pros and cons. Heavy duty, it's got the thickest handle, metal striking cap, greatest weight, roughest from the factory, heavy spine, finished spine. But I would guess, you know, for the coarsest of the work these do, this is probably the winner. Close second here. And then for a little bit finer work, with the splitting of the difference, probably if you want the traditional chisel or you don't mind that classic knife wedge. For those two. But anyway, there it is. The Stanley FatMAX Chisel Knife. And is there a product number right down there? You can see it is the FMHT 16693. I'll put a link if I can. I don't know if I can to Home Depot or not. I'll see. But anyway, there you go. With that, Doc out.